So we're going to go through a really simple way in these anxious times right now to think about getting your tasks done. When people climb Everest, they are never just looking at the summit. I listened to a great talk online and it said about this guy who climbed it. And he said, if you constantly look at the summit, firstly, it terrifies you. Secondly, you're not looking at where you're actually going in that moment, the short-term future. And he said you could fall into a precipice, you could fall off the side of the mountain. What you actually do when you're climbing is you rarely look at the summit. You just check it's still there, but you look at the steps in front of you. So every small proactive step. So you actually look down a lot of the time and you control short steps timed with slow breaths. So when you slow down your breathing, it slows down your heart rate. It lets you concentrate on the task right in front of you. So everyone, if you're watching this, draw a mountain. Just draw a simple triangle. Use what's on the screen. When you draw that mountain, I want you to put 4 lines going across it horizontally. So you split your triangle with 4 lines into 5 sections. The very top section, I want you to write overall aims. Now you can decide what those aims are in terms of, is it your choices coming up at 18 next summer? Is it a long-term career journey that you'd like to map out? But put that big aim at the top of that summit, which you're going to check in with every now and again, but not too often on a day-to-day basis. The next row down, you're going to put things I want to achieve by next summer. Then on the next row down, things I want to achieve by Easter. The next one down, things I want to achieve by January. So just after that kind of festive period. And then in the very bottom section, right at the bottom of your mountain, the widest bit, that's the bit you're at right now. I want you to put short-term objectives. And in brackets, where I am right now. And now you've got these different categories and they're your different markers for your mountain. And you're not always going to look at that top one. You're going to just try and hit every little marker on the way up. But that bottom section is the most important right now. That's your training for everything coming up. It might take people 2 weeks to do Everest, but it might take them 2 years to train for it. So right now, you've not even started climbing the mountain, or you're just starting to climb it. But what's all this preparation that you need to do? What's the training you need to do? And training is a lot about balance. Balance is about respecting yin and yang. So in that white bit of your circle, that's my work. Those are the things that I absolutely need to get done. You always prioritize the most urgent things and its level of importance. And those are the things you want to get done first. And then in the other side of your balance, what do you need for your well-being to make sure when you do go for those hard graft things, you're climbing the mountain, what are the things you've done to train yourself to be happy and rested and focused for the hard stuff? So that's the other side. That's the yang side. And the yang side is a good cup of tea. It's your favorite Netflix show. It's being able to go for a walk. It's being able to stroke your favorite pet. This is JB. You all right? Yeah. So all of these things that release oxytocin in your body, really important. And you can see the yin and yang and how it actually goes into a timetable. Put in the things you've got coming up, a test, revision, some of those things that can look quite scary, but put in as well things like you're going to lie in that day. You're going to do football training. One day might just have a smiley face and a question mark because that's your day to do what you want. You can break this down even more. into, like you can see, morning, afternoon, evening. So you can see there is a real balance there. Don't ever just put in the scary things. Put in the things which remind you you have to do the things you enjoy to be able to be ready and rested for the tough stuff. And then when you've done the tough stuff, at the end of the day, you should have one of your yang activities, one of those things that you've really earned. So my dad always used to say, earn your sleep, earn your spare time by getting the difficult, most urgent things done first. So there's a good list of questions to ask yourself when you're forming that work side of things. So now we're going to take you through some of the anonymous survey answers we've got from East Riding College, where we've run a session like this before, but it might be useful for some of the other people out there who are watching at different schools and colleges as well. Aron, do you want to tell us about this survey and the type of things we asked them and go through some of the answers?
So we wanted to gather the worries of students in the room. So we gave them an anonymous method to do that. So we received so the question we asked was just, what are you worried about at the moment? What is it in life? What is it at school? What is worrying you? And these are some of the responses we got back. So one was not being able to see friends and family properly for a while. One was this question, deadlines. One was, have I left my PS5 on at home? One was, where I'll be in the future. So we've got things worried about the future and not being able to see friends and family as we would have. Mental health and the college future and being able to look after the people I care about as well. Another one was that they're not sure if they need to go to a Russell Group university, so a more specific one.
What would you say when it comes to students' mental health? What little bits of their yang can they do in their balanced circle? What can they do every day to make sure that their mental health side is rested and there's a good stable foundation there so they can get the yin side done? What do you think?
Being able to take the time for yourself as well as the time to do the more work-based tasks, but also about worrying about the things that you do have control over. I think ultimately the worst kind of anxiety comes when you're worrying about things that are out of your control, and then you can't do anything to make them better, but there's still a worry to you. So it's about recognizing what those things are, recognizing what it is you can control, what you can't control, and only focusing on the things in your own life that you can change, you can improve, whatever that is. And I think that is the key to at least starting the road to getting your well-being into a better place than it might be if you are worried about things like that. So what would you say, Moj, in regards to the one about being worried about the future, what the future holds, especially in regards to college work and the way things are going in regards to the pandemic and not being able to see people for a while?
I'm going to take you back to a really good quote by a guy called Lao Tzu. So it's, again, I'm half Chinese, so I love my old Chinese symbols and I love Chinese proverbs and things. But Lao Tzu said thousands of years ago, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. If you stare at this journey, whether it's a journey on a flat road, if it's Mount Everest and it feels like you've got a mountain of tasks to do, if you just keep staring and worrying at the whole distance as one, you're never going to get started. Best thing to do, get the ball rolling, get those little proactive steps in place. It might be that today you don't even attempt all the tasks you've got coming up. Instead, you just think, hang on, I'm going to get a really good revision plan together. Morning, afternoon, evening. Split it into the things you need to achieve. What do you know you need to achieve? Put in those urgent things that need doing and how quickly they need to be done. And make sure there are times in the day when maybe your concentration is best. So if you work best after lunch, put it in that middle section of your timetable. If in the morning you need to go for a walk with the dog and you just need to have a bit of a lie-in and you need to be able to rest yourself and be ready, do that. So work the schedule to yourself, but be able to visualize and see that balance. And that's your first step. And that first step is so important because it allows all the other ones to come after that. So never just stop and freak out about the journey. Otherwise, you'll never even start. The future is literally every second that suddenly happens right now. So the future is essentially the present. You can instantly change the future up, your short-term future, by deciding how you act in the present moment. And in the present moment, just keep doing those little steps forward and get started at a task. Don't ever just stop and worry about it. Always get started, and get started with those most urgent ones. And when you get the ball rolling, you'll probably be surprised how far you've come over the last 3 days if you just dedicate to doing those most urgent tasks straight away. That would be my advice. What else have we got, Aaron?
Not being on the right course and disappointing tutors and family for not wanting to do what they want me to, about doing a path different to what your parents or your tutors have sort of decided for you in a way. I think this would be a good one for you to take, Moj.
My mum wanted me to go to university. Someone said about the pressure of going to a Russell Group university, that collection of not even about, it's not even a quarter of the universities out there and the higher education colleges you can go to and the places you can get a degree. It's a small collection, the Russell Group, of what they sometimes call the most prestigious kind of universities. They're the more research-driven universities, ones that get a lot of funding for research, and a lot of the courses might have you doing more research-based skills than more practical-based skills. So it doesn't mean they're any better. The best thing to do is the thing that suits your needs. And if you've got family who are pressuring you to go and do a certain route, I had that. Know that a lot of people experience that. But know that you don't have to. You don't have to do what other people want you to do. You might upset a few people along your road trip of life. Might be a few bumps there, a few flat tires that you have to stop and fix. But in the end of the day, you only get one journey in life. It's your journey. And sometimes it takes talking to people really honestly, and they can be hard, brutal conversations, but talking to people about the reasons why they might want you to do certain things as opposed to the thing you want to do, and not shutting that off, being able to accept it, listen to it. It's always good to get feedback from people, be able to stop, breathe, assess what they've said, respect what they've said, and say, okay, I respect you've got that opinion. Put that back to them and go, look, because I want to do what I want to do, it doesn't mean you've not appreciated the way they've raised you, the way they've put money towards being able to make sure you're okay in life and be able to just help you get through these last 15, 16, 17, 18 years. But then it doesn't mean you're not going to take any of those skills and those experiences and those attitudes forward. But you just need to say that to them, you might want to take it forward in a different way, a way that's still going to be useful for the world, but just not in the way they want you to do it. And sometimes people can suggest things to you because they never got to do it themselves, or they feel a yearning to live through their sons and daughters. I think I got a bit of that from my parents, although my dad loves what he does, and he is a carpenter, and I've taken so much from him and from my granddad, who have a family business in kitchens. I've taken so many transferable skills from them, and good working attitudes, and things like how to prioritize my time. But I'm not doing their career. So there's always things you can transfer into something. And sometimes it just takes convincing people that you are going to take all the things you've gathered from them that are useful, but you're going to just take it forward and be useful in a different career in the world, something that excites you. Aaron, your dad's a joiner, isn't he? Did you get any conflict from your parents doing what you want to do, or were they actually what you often do get, which is they were quite supportive?
Yeah, so mine were quite supportive in the way that they never sort of tried to push me down a particular path. They just sort of let me decide what was best for me and allowed me to pursue that and gave me that space, which was great. But they didn't have the experience of doing that pathway themselves, which meant they weren't able to offer advice in that particular way. That meant I had to research that on my own. But the chance that they gave me to give the space to allow me to make those decisions and not try and push me down a particular path, I think was probably the best thing they could have done. So mine was, they were quite supportive when the way that they didn't push me down one particular path. So that could be your experience as well. Or you could have an experience like Moj, where they tried to push him down a particular path and he had to sort of put his feet in and say, have that honest conversation with them. That might be something you need to do.
It's good to just step back and think, are they really telling me what to do? Are they pressuring me? Or are you putting that anxiety on yourself that you think they're trying to pressure you? Because they might not be. They might actually be more like Aron's ones, going, do what you want to do. And it might be that you're the one feeling that they're trying to pressure you. Even by saying do what you want to do, you might be thinking they're saying, you might worry that they're actually going, oh, they're not helping me in any way. They're just being really blasé and really casual about it. And I want them to suggest some things to me. So we can always look at our parents in that kind of way. And it's a difficult time, remember. Teenage years are the years where your bodies are changing, you have different hormones still, a civil war of chemicals and hormones in your body, your voice is changing, you're growing. You remember, your body doesn't stop evolving into adulthood until you're about 25, physiologically. So of course you're going to have loads of different kind of thoughts firing in your head. You're going to have mood swings sometimes. You're going to be tired. You're not going to want to listen to them. You're going to have the most arguments with people in your teenage years, with your parents. So always remember, it's good just to can you bring down an argument into a good, healthy debate instead? Can you think, actually, don't think of it as an argument. Think of it as a chance to really get together and respect their opinion versus your opinion, and see where you can meet in the middle. So it's like a family negotiation for your future, because remember, they do want the best for your future, and sometimes it comes through in the wrong way. When you've raised someone from being a baby and you've cared for them so much over the years, they naturally can worry that you're not going to be able to survive on your own, even though you're a fully grown person now, who's got different qualifications and other friends and skills and work experience and things on their CV. They can sometimes suggest things for you which are the most safe options for you, which they know are safe, if you see what I mean. Maybe safe career options. They know there's going to be jobs in those sectors. It doesn't mean you want to do them, but they might say, well, I think you should do that because there are jobs there. And that can be through, remember, it doesn't always feel like it, but it's actually done through love. It's done through them wanting to make sure you'll be okay in life. So you need to be able to not fight back, but be able to debate in a healthy way to them and express that you will be okay, and that you've got your yin and yang in place. You've worked on your time management, your deadlines, the things that you can handle pressure, but tell them as well, Mum, I've got the things which I do that can make me feel stable, and I want to go forward with this balance in life. So I think that's really, really important.